All right, so this is my garden, and the worst part is weeding in between the beds. Before I got started today, I had all these weeds that had grown between my raised beds. So I was using this Deerfamy kneeler to kneel on today, and it definitely made weeding easier. As you can see, I was able to get all these rows in between the beds cleaned out. Weeding is still not fun, but this made it a lot easier on my knees and a lot easier to get up and down. So it's pretty cushioned. You can keep your tools on the side. You can flip it over like a bench. And then one additional thing is, if it doesn't have enough comfort, it comes with this additional kneeler. So you can put that there if you even need a little bit more support. Then this is also just a handy thing to have if you don't want to take out the full kneeler for the garden. So I've got a little bit more to do. I haven't gotten to this section yet, but all of those parts are done. And it's really looking amazing. And this has been super handy. I flip it over like a bench when I'm harvesting my peas and my strawberries. And then I've been using it as a kneeler for weeding.
So here's what you can expect in this video. I'm going to do an unboxing and talk a little bit about how I've been using this Deerfamy garden kneeler. And then I'm going to give you a complete garden tour so you can see how my garden looks now that it's June. So this shows you what the product comes with. It's pretty much put together except for a few pieces.
Okay, so it says to start it in this position, and then it says raise the leg by pulling upward and click into a lock position. So let's try that. Okay, so very nice. You could hear the click, that locked. And then they want you to do the other thing with the other leg. And then you can see here, this is the locked position. So you want to make sure that both sides go into that locked position. Just tapping those handlebars in place. Just like so. Then a couple of bonuses that came in the bag is it also came with this handy bag here, so you can use it just like this, or like the instructions show you, you can actually put it around a circular bucket and then could use it that way. A few other things that came in the package were this little kneeling mat, and then it also came with a pair of gardening gloves. So I'm in my garden picking peas right now, and this is really, really nice. Normally I would just kind of squat down here and harvest the peas. A lot of them are lower. So at first I was sitting on the bench to pick the higher ones, and now I flipped it over as a kneeler. It's really very sturdy. I like that you can use these to help yourself get up if you need a little more support. But this definitely makes the job a lot easier. And then another nice thing is I'm not using it right now since I'm just harvesting, but if I was weeding or doing some other work, you have these nice pockets here where you can keep your tools handy. So you'd have everything kind of accessible and you wouldn't have to get up and get anything. Especially for crops like peas, where you're going to be down here a while picking. You've got a lot of individual vegetables that you have to harvest. This is so nice to have. So now I'm going to flip it back over, because there are some on the higher side that I have to pick. So certain types of garden crops, like I said, are very tedious to pick. And I love these snow peas, but there are definitely a lot of them. You're going to be sitting here for a long time. And that's why I'm really thrilled with this garden kneeler and bench, because it makes it a much more comfortable way compared to me squatting down picking all the peas. I can just either sit or kneel depending on if I'm harvesting high on the plants or lower. So it gives you a lot of options. The other thing is I've got these raised beds, and they are kind of tightly put together, but this is good enough where you feel supported when you sit on it, but it's also narrow enough that it can fit between the beds.
This kneeler does fold up. I have this shed right next to my garden, so I don't plan on folding this up. So I would say if you're going to be doing a lot of work in the garden and going between sitting and kneeling, I may not even put on these tool bags if I were you, because if you want to be in the sitting position and then change the kneeling, you have to just pop these off real quick, and then this flips to your kneeler. But if you're doing the kind of back and forth work where maybe you're kneeling, then maybe you're in a different area of the garden and you want to sit, I may not even bother with putting these on. But if you know, like, hey, I'm working on my little citrus trees here, and I know I'm going to be sitting in one spot just using the sitting feature, well then I probably would put these on. But I would say if you're going to flip back and forth, these are a little bit awkward that they have to be removed. But then again, when you're sitting there working, it's super nice to have your tools handy. And this is what it looks like in its folded position. And of course, I didn't want to be the only one to try this garden kneeler, so I asked my mom to try it out, and then also my son. They both liked it. They thought it was very comfortable and made it easier to do the garden work.
So just want to give you a little garden tour here. So I've got radishes, tomatoes, some sunflowers in the back. These are eggplant, additional tomatoes, a few radishes I've got here. Then I have to weed this, but I've got some beets, some lettuce. These are pumpkins that are starting to come up. I've had a problem where little animals, mice and things are eating the seeds. So I've had to fashion these little metal cages. Even though my garden is fenced in, something small is getting in here and eating the seedling. So this has been my solution. Hopefully I can get a few more to come up. Then over here, same thing, had to protect with some metal cages. Have a tomato. This is some oregano and chives, some lettuce, some cilantro. These are some pumpkin, watermelon. I've got some climbing beans here. These are some zinnias, some beets, some basil, peppers in there. Then I've got snow peas and just like shell peas that you would shell. This is my asparagus. It's still really young, so I'm not going to harvest it this year. The stalks have to get bigger. As you can see, they're still really pretty tiny. So this will just go to frond, and I'll just let it stay like that all summer. And then hopefully in a year or two, I can have some strong asparagus that I can harvest. I also have some carrots planted in here. This is my strawberry patch. It's been doing really well. You can see a couple that are ripening. And that's my garden. So this is my apple tree. I actually have set some fruit this year. So I always have a problem with squirrels. So I'm trying these. It's a stainless steel mesh bag that I have zip tied on here to see if I can protect the apples from the squirrels. And then the grapes are getting close to flowering and setting some fruit. And then this is my peach tree. It has also set a lot of fruit. And then what I tried to do is the same thing. I've got these mesh bags here to see if I can stop the squirrels from eating it. So these are stainless steel mesh, and I don't think they're going to be able to chew through that. And then they are just attached with a zip tie. So that's my experiment for this year to see if I can protect some of the peaches. And then of course I'm leaving some uncovered. So hey, the squirrels can have a snack too. Okay, this is really sad. Look at my poor zinnias. Some kind of insect has been eating these. So I try to keep everything organic, but I think I might have to give this a dusting with maybe 7 insect powder to see if I can salvage these. I don't know, they're looking pretty sad. And then this is my raspberry patch. Needs a good weeding and thinning out here, but does pretty good every year. It likes the sunny spots. So these are my citrus trees. This is the lime, and it really has a lot of flowers. So that's looking really good. And then this is the lemon, and this has set some small fruit. They look like limes now, but they will eventually ripen, turn into lemons. So I bring these in for the winter, and then they come out for the spring, summer, and part of the fall till it gets really cold. And then this is one of our blueberry bushes. No blossoms yet, but looking.
I did get all my weeding done, so everything looks nice and cleared out between the raised beds. All right, so now that I've tested the Deerfamy kneeler and garden seat in my garden, I really can say that I like it. It is super sturdy. It's super easy to flip it upside down to have it be the kneeler versus having it be the seat. If you want a little more support, like I said, you can throw this additional cushion on there, but this is kind of like a nice bonus. Let's say you have to do just a small amount of gardening. You don't want to take this out. They give you this as well, so you can use that. I thought the bag is a nice touch, the gloves, you know, hey, if you're getting those included, that's a nice thing as well to keep your tools in.
So I think this would be really good if you're somebody who has trouble bending down, if you might have a little bit of issues with your back and your knees, and you're looking for just an easier way to garden. I thought it folds very nicely. You just have to make sure that you're sliding both these pins at once, and then it would fold up. So if you're somebody that needs to store this inside in a closet, if you're looking for something super compact, this is gonna fit that bill. And then the other thing is, I thought it was really light. You can lift this with one hand, no problem. So it makes it very easy to move around. And honestly, I'm not really sure why I never thought to get one of these before, because I've been gardening for years. And I just kind of like squat down or kneel on the ground when I do gardening. And this is really, really nice. You're not going to be able to use this for everything, but for a lot of the tasks, this is going to make it much, much easier.
Also, let me know in the comments. Do you think this looks like a useful product? Do you use something similar to this when you garden? And let me know, how's your garden doing this year? Thank you so much for watching. I try to do a product review video about once a month on the channel. I know I've mentioned this before, but before I agree to review a product, I want to make sure that I can always give my honest opinion. And then I also kind of vet the product beforehand. I look at the reviews, I look what people say about the product online. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you're a gardener, your garden is off to a great start.